How to garden in a small area. You know, that's one of the most searched topics on the web right now. And you don't have to have a lot of room to grow a lot of food. I've had quite a few viewers write in, ask about containers, and that's basically what a small garden is containers. And containers is much different than a traditional garden. Containers have their own ecosystem. Let's get into that. And a lot of gardens actually started out just as a small container. And we can see this highlighted from the photos that were sent in for this week's viewer celebrations. We've got viewers all around America that have decent sized gardens. They all have containers. So let's talk about small gardening, which basically is container gardening. And containers come in all different sizes and shapes. If you're going to just have your windowsill, you want something small and you want a small plant. But if you have a patio or a balcony, you can use some bigger containers. You can use some cloth bags. You can use a cardboard box by all means. You get out a little bit more space, you can use some raised beds. The one thing about container gardening and small gardening, they have their own ecosystem. Everything that plant needs, you have to provide. You have to pay a little more attention to it. Now, the number one rule for container gardens, drainage is not an option. Now, there's a myth that you can put rocks down in the bottom and that will help hold that. It actually doesn't. It creates a saturation layer right between the rocks and the bottom of that soil, and that will hold too much water and it can lead to root rot. You want to have holes in whatever kind of container you're going to use. And I like these 3-gallon containers. They hold up in the sun for more than 1 year and they're easy to move around. And the next thing we want to look at is the soil. Now, while I go get a bag of soil, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of our contributors. Some of our contributors use their containers and their small area as landscaping. Art has bananas as a nice border, but in this small area, you can see he's got a combination of containers and in-ground. He's producing peppers and squash already. Art, I can't wait to see those bananas come off in a big cluster. This is wonderful. Thank you, Art. Larry and Michelle in North Carolina have incorporated a lot of edible flowers along with some ornamentals, and their blueberries and blackberries work as a nice border. But their main garden is in containers, and they produce a bunch of food. Larry, Michelle, your garden is looking great. I'm jealous you have tomatoes already. And then we go to Tulsa and we look at Walter's garden. It's about a 6x8 area, and he has a few things planted in his deep mix mulch, but he has a lot of things in containers. And using trellises and cages, he's able to get a ton of food in that very small area. Walter, the way you've utilized your small space is absolutely inspiring. Thank you. Now, I could use some of the soil under the deep mix mulch to fill these containers, but that's an awful lot of really good soil I need for the garden. And in the containers, it's not going to give them that much benefit. Just about any commercial potting soil is going to work really well. It's got the vermiculite, it's got the peat moss, it'll hold some moisture. The problem of using just regular garden soil is it'll pack down in these containers and you're not going to be happy with the result. So just about, and I'm not hawking Miracle-Gro, but just about any one of the commercial products you can buy, and I found these on sale, so I'm going with Miracle-Gro this year. We're going to have to add nutrients to this throughout the year anyhow, and it's a nice potting mix, and I found it does just fine for the containers up around the house. While I finish filling these containers, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple more of our contributors. Linda's harvest has started to come in, and she's using raised beds in her small area. Linda, like you said in your note, come on, let's plant. This looks wonderful. If you've been following along, you've seen the evolution of Bruce's food forest this year, and he definitely uses a bunch of containers. But today, doing the hardest work he ever do in a deep mixed mulch food forest, harvesting. That cantaloupe is wonderful. Thank you, Bruce. Chris is a new member from the Central Valley of California. It looks like you're doing the hardest work you ever do in a garden, that's harvest. Chris, we look forward to seeing how your garden grows this year. That watermelon ought to be tasty. Our contributors are absolutely fantastic. Please leave a comment down below and let everybody know just how much you appreciate them sharing what's going on in their garden. And I invite you to become a member of this group. Doesn't cost anything, there's no obligation. We're just a loose-knit group of people that like to get our hands dirty and grow things that taste great. And there's all kinds of gardens. Whatever makes you successful is wonderful. Now, a bunch of our contributors have raised beds. And a raised bed is nothing more than a big container. And you got to treat it the same way. You want to have drainage. You don't want that soil to get compacted. You don't want those roots to rot. Mike and Linda in East Texas supplement their garden with raised beds. Just look at this production. Mike, Linda, you started off this year very well. Thank you for the motivation. In the deep mix mulch, you got mulch covering the ground, and that moderates the temperature of the soil. In a container like this, you got heat all the way around it all summer long. Benefit of this is we can move these into the shady areas and we can keep them a little cooler. But they are going to use a little more water, and that's the other thing we want to talk about. We did talk about drainage, but when you water this, you want to water this container until the water runs through the bottom. That's the other reason you want to have holes. And that'll let you know that the entire container is saturated. Once it runs through, you can stop watering. You have a little saucer on the bottom. Catch that, just hold it for a little bit, but you don't want it standing in that. You don't want those roots sitting in water. Then it becomes anaerobic. And like I already mentioned, this is an entire enclosed ecosystem, and you have to provide everything that your plants need. Okay, we don't have the benefit of the living soil in the garden, so you're going to have to give it some nutrients. A nice balanced NPK, nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, about once a month, every 2 weeks, is all you need, and your plants are going to thrive in a container. And I always like to leave a little room so we can put some leaves or some grass clippings in here as mulch. It's not really to create the life in the soil as much as it does help retain some of the water. And there is an option, this Oya. It's a terracotta little bulb-like thing you can put down in your soil, fill that with water, and that will help keep the plants watered without waterlogging the roots. And when I finally convinced my wife that it was a good idea that we add some mulch to our containers, she saw that it did actually help with the retention of the moisture, and it actually did do something with the temperature. I can't get grass clippings anymore. She mows and says, those are mine. But mulching your containers is not a must, but I think it helps a lot. So what we've got going on here is I've just put in 2 sweet potatoes that we had potted up that I'd forgotten about. They were back in the corner, and they've been chewed on a little bit, but they're going to come along just fine. Those roots are good and healthy. And these containers are going to produce a couple really nice tubers. Maybe not as big as what we're going to get in the garden, but you can grow sweet potatoes in a container. And our echinacea, our coneflower, which is edible, we'll be able to bring this one in and out of the house over the winter. And then our tomatoes, I've got this one. It's got a little cage on it. It's too flimsy. We're going to have to stake this. The thing about tomatoes, as a vine, they're going to continue to grow, and they're going to get quite heavy. So you got to kind of make sure you have some support or have them in a corner where they're not going to fall over. Those are things I've learned the hard way. And that's really all it takes to start a small garden. Get a container, put some soil in it, make sure you got drainage, feed your plants, and you'll be surprised at what it'll produce for you. You can do this too. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.